Hi there, folks. My name's NovaWrap and welcome to the NovaWrap, your one-stop location for your simulation release news and goings-on from the week that was. So here we are on Sunday, the 27th of February, 2022, for another episode, and it's fairly diverse this episode this week. So jumping straight into it with the Sim of the Hour Microsoft Flight Simulator, seeing a new aircraft release this week from developer Rara Avis Sims with the release of their Zippy Sport for Microsoft Flight Simulator. Now, the name may seem a little bit odd, but it is a real-life aircraft that is a kit aircraft or a recreational, or sort of a home build, a recreational aircraft, which has a high wing tail dragger with a very panoramic cockpit, though sort of very a combination of sort of futuristic design, yet still feeling like a cub somehow as well. So this gives us the developer brings us a detailed rendition of this aircraft, including a highly detailed 3D model, including highly accurate to actual scale plans of the aircraft, both internally and externally, using variety of 3D gauges, custom modeling, custom camera positions, includes full support for standard MSFS effects, including icing effects, and a variety of custom animations with custom plexiglass textures included as well. Also includes animated landing gear suspension and full support for tire smoke and dust effects, as well as a custom door animation and windscreen rain effects. So ticking a lot of the boxes that we expect to see from aircraft developers coming through here. And this release comes to us over at flightsim.to for $10 or original equivalent, available now. Continuing on with MSFS releases, but moving into scenery releases this week. Any builds brought to life London's Heathrow Airport for Microsoft Flight Simulator, attempting to because of course Heathrow was one of the handcrafted airports that ships with Microsoft Flight Simulator, but this one gives us a lot more of those Heathrow details that were missing from that handcrafted airport, including a lot of the signage and a lot of the branding that is conspicuously absent from the one in the sim. So this recreation of London Heathrow includes all airport buildings with over 80 custom modelled and textured POIs of the airport and of the surrounding area as well, including the famous roundabout at the front of the airport, as well as custom night lighting for a variety of features as well. Includes over 10,000 any-scene car models scattered throughout car parking lots outside the airport boundary. I don't know why that's a particularly important detail that they wanted to tell us all about, but they did. Includes aggressive, in their words, aggressive performance optimization with different levels, LOD model optimization. It supports for both Xbox and PC users, as well as custom jetway variations of each of the ones available at the airport, custom ground polys, custom ground markings, airside and landside. Of course, the ubiquitous Concorde, which is on display just before runway 27 left, and a variety of other custom features included as well. At the moment, though, I did mention before that it does support full Xbox compatibility and options for Xbox. But bear in mind, at the moment, it is not available through the Microsoft Marketplace. It has been submitted then for release. They anticipate that being released in short order, but it is currently only available directly from the AnyBuild store. So if you are a cross-platform user, or for any reason thinking that maybe at some point you'd want to have your flight simulation experience on both PC and Xbox, I'd probably wait until the store edition is released. Otherwise, you're going to be buying this airport twice. But if you do want to pick this one up and add this one to your collection, you can pick it up for $25 or your original equivalent, available now from AnyScene. Continuing on with airport releases this week from developer MK Studios. So this week, the release of their rendition of Rome Fiumicino International Airport. This airport is kind of special to me. I've gone through Fiumicino several times actually, and I've always been fascinated by its architecture and its layout. Now I would love to tell you all about, give you a long list of features for this one, but MK Studios have given us sweet FA when it comes to features. features. The one probably notable feature, though, particularly probably for community members who do enjoy online airline flying, is that this is the current 2022 airport layout as well. So it is the most up-to-date rendition of this airport currently available. Includes all it looks like from what I remember as well, because I was there before the latest renovation. All airport buildings are modelled. It's got custom satellite imagery for the airport area. And immediate surrounds, and a custom simplified terminal interior supported with this as well. Other than that, looks like it makes full use of PBR materials, custom ground poly. Night lighting looks pretty good as well. Overall, looking like a pretty solid add-on, this one. If you wanted to pick this one up for your experience, you can pick this one up for $17 or your original equivalent, available now from Orbix Direct. In another scenery release this week from developer Impulse Studios, saw this week the release of their rendition of Coffs Harbour Airport in Australia. So a small sort of regional airport, this one servicing the north coast of New South Wales. This airport is so it was always home to GA and sort of turboprop short haul aviation. More recently, it has been also serviced by some of the smaller jetliners as well, including some 737s. So this gives us a highly detailed rendition of the airport as it appears in probably, I'm going to guess, 2020 to 2021. It includes custom 20 centimeter per pixel aerial imagery for airport, for the main airport and surrounding areas, as well as just shy of 100 square kilometers of the surrounding areas in 50 centimeter per pixel aerial imagery as well. It includes over 10,000 handcrafted assets, as well as support for full PBR texturing, custom runway markings and ground markings airside, as well as a variety of custom animations, custom terminal interior and control tower interior with full night lighting support included with this as well. It also includes a custom terrain mesh for the airport and surrounding areas and support for the nearby marina and town of Coffs Harbour. By the way, folks, if you ever get to Coffs Harbour is the part of Australia where time stopped. It's sort of 2022 everywhere else in Australia, but you drive into the outskirts of Coffs Harbour and you go back in about 40, 50 years. It's kind of interesting, actually, but having driven through there many times. Anyway, I digress. But as I said, if you are wanting to pick this one up, you can pick this one up for $30 or your original equivalent, available now from Impulse Simulations. Continuing on with scenery releases for Microsoft Flight Simulator, this time from developer helidesign.ch. So this week, the release of it's technically tagged as freeware, but I'm going to call it freemium helicopter scenery for Microsoft Flight Simulator with the release of their Swiss Plateau Pofnau scenery for Microsoft Flight Simulator. So this is a heliport at Pofnau, which is utilized by Swiss helicopters as a base and as a training facility, as a main operational facility as well, and gives custom airport buildings, custom ground textures with a fully supported helicopter helipads, with an animated windside PBR textures, all the usual stuff as well, with custom photoreal imagery of the helipad and the surrounding area, and a custom updated terrain mesh and terraforming to correct the river that has been put in by the sim and has been corrected down to a somewhat smaller creek, which is actually based off what it actually is in real life. So as I said, now I'm calling this one a freemium product, this one, because this first heliport that is being released is free. However, they have already announced that there are other updates coming and expansions of this that will offer additional heliports around Switzerland and around the area that are sort of serviced by Swiss Helicopter. Those will all be paid. So that's kind of why I'm putting this in the freemium category. But as I said, it's a good way to get started and to see if what we think of their product and give us an idea of this developer and see how they're sitting. And of course, a great chance to test out the new helicopters that are starting to turn up for Microsoft Flight Simulator. So I think it's a good option to start with. At least we can get a bit of a trial before we buy. So if you want to pick this one up, you can pick this one up for free from flightsim.to, available now. Continue on with Microsoft Flight Simulator releases, and this one's a kind of interesting one. This one, so Latin VFR, sort of previously they've released their update for ground sort of ground service vehicles for airports for various regional parts of the world. And they've followed that up now with the release of global vehicle traffic. So this is a replacement of the AI sort of sprite vehicles that we find populating on our living world roads throughout the world. But it's aiming to deliver us more accurate sort of bit more of a some traffic that actually looks like real world traffic. So with a variety of signage on trucks, on vehicles, and the like as well. So it just gives you that little bit of extra if you are a low and slow or low and fast flyer. It gives you a bit more variety. It's according to the product description, vehicles that resemble real-world type traffic, including compact cars, vans, buses, and trucks. Variety of different logos for many of the trucks with real-world companies, and it replaces the road traffic with different texture sets for different parts of the world, including North America, Latin America, Europe, Asia, Middle East, and Africa. And there's a really interesting footnote at the bottom of the product description here, which is very, very brief, is that New Zealand traffic is not modified by this, and I would love to know why. So hey, Latin VFR, if you're watching, can you let us know why you couldn't change New Zealand's traffic? I am genuinely curious why you couldn't do that. I would love to know. So yeah. Anyway, but yeah, if you want to pick this one up and add this one to your global vehicle traffic experience for Microsoft Flight Simulator, pick it up for $9 or your regional equivalent, available now from Latin VFR. Continue on with the Microsoft Flight Simulator releases. Actually, this is another interesting release, and I use that word with somewhat hesitancy here. And a release that bridges both a Microsoft Flight Simulator and the legacy ESP sims as well, with a release of Avia's Fly-by-Wire. So Avia Fly-by-Wire by Avia Works. So I have questions about this. So this is and I am literally quoting from the product description here. Avia Fly-by-Wire redefines your manual flight experience without compromising realism. Avia Fly-by-Wire is a flight control augmentation system that takes care of making manual flight easy, intuitive, and smooth. So basically this slaps the Airbus fly-by-wire system into every aircraft is basically what this does. And what I mean by that is with an Airbus fly-by-wire system, you essentially point the nose where you want it to go, whether you want it to be 5 degrees nose up, 5 degrees nose down, whatever, and then the computer just figures it out on its own. Basically, this is what this does, except for controls. So, you sort of put your controls to one point, and then you just sort of go hands off, and the aircraft will stay there. Which, to me, why would you be doing that for a GA aircraft? And if you want it for tube liners, then realistically, you should be going back to your tube liner developer and going, why isn't this modeled in the sim? Well, if it's an Airbus anyway, and if it's a Boeing, well, you've got other tools as well. You've got FMCs and CDUs and whatever. So I have questions about this add-on, why it is necessary. I'll be honest, I'm just going to honestly say I'm biased because I don't understand why you would do this. The whole thing for me is flying the airplane. This to me, if it's not flying itself, is it really flying kind of idea? I disagree with it. Look, if you find it interesting, if this is something that's going to help you, look, by all means, please consider it. Couple of words of caution, though, is that it does require integration with server type system that they've got. It's weird that all their products are done through that. But if you want to pick this one up, you can pick this one up for $13 or your original equivalent from your favorite flight sim retailer or directly via the AviaWorks launcher, available now. Moving out of the Microsoft Flight Simulator and its legacy predecessors, moving into the world of X-Plane now. From Runway 26 simulations this week saw the release of Gulson International Airport. This is, my job is sometimes made really, really hard by the fact that developers just don't say squat about their products either. Like literally, all I got for this one is accurately 3D modeled airport and buildings, HD ground textures, PBR materials. Like, throw me a bone here. Anyway, so looking at the images that were supplied, though, it looks like it doesn't look too bad as far as X-Plane 11 goes. I don't know the airport, so I can't comment too much there. The airside markings look like what they say on the tin. They should be right. And maybe this is just me being nitpicky now, but there was one thing that I did notice on. Obviously, this is a dual-use airfield with combinations sort of mil-air and civilian traffic. The way some of the stuff is parked there, just seems a bit odd. But there's one particular image that they've supplied where the ground textures are obviously the photo imagery that they're using is, shall we say, not the greatest quality, especially not something that we might be used to from, say, Microsoft Flight Simulator. And where they've tried to put static models on top of the obvious where the aerial imagery had an aeroplane. So pro tip to Runway 26, if you've got photoreal imagery that has something like an ATR on the photoreal imagery, don't slap a Cessna 172 on it because it looks really out of place. Just really does. So yeah, anyway, if you're X-Plane 11 and wanting to expand your airport collection, you can pick this one up for about $14 from Runway 26 Simulations, available now. Sticking with aviation, but moving into aviation of a very, very different kind this week, saw the release into early access from developer Y485 and published by Microprose Software, the release of Tiny Combat Arena. So this is a really interesting, so many flashbacks and memories here at the moment here. So I grew up in the era of, of flight simming when pixel graphics were a thing, it was black screen and white lines kind of thing. And then I remember my first sort of color sim was a dogfighting sim called Secret Weapons of the Luftwaffe. I still remember that to this day. And the nostalgia in this game is strong, that is for sure. But underneath the somewhat cheesy 8-bit graphic exterior, there's actually a decent sim under there as well. With physics and with variable physics, moving, changing weights of the aircraft as fuel is burned, fuel moves around the aircraft, as ordnance gets dropped and employed. Like there is a lot of logic going in here, and I was very fortunate I had a chance to enjoy a preview build of this prior to it going to the current early access build, which is just hit Steam. And had a lot of fun. It has you've got a variety of missions you can do: air to air, air to ground, air to air, air to ground. Currently restricted to just flying the Aviate-B Harrier 2, but they believe there might be plans to have other aircraft included, because there are other aircraft included both for your allies and OPFOR. So you have some pretty interesting options there. You can do quick missions. You can do an arena mode, which basically is like a strategic map where you support ground forces moving forward and defend yourself against opposing ground forces, along with a detailed database. So this is an early access release. I'm going to stress that this is an early access release. So there will be more to come in the future. But if you do want to get started and give it an idea now, you can pick this up for $15 or your original equivalent, available now on Steam. And finally, rounding out the NovaWrap for this week, saw the release of, it is a release. It is a release of an additional feature. So the developers of Train Sim World 2, Dovetail Games, have released an update, a content update for Train Sim World 2, which also includes their new Creators Club system. So this enters into beta, so it's called Creators Club Beta. Essentially, it's a scenario builder and livery and content creator for the Sim. So we as a community can, much like we do for flight simulators and previous iterations of Train Sim, and pretty much every sim out there, to be honest, we can actually now get on board with very accessible tools to be able to create new scenarios and be able to create new liveries for anything in the Train Sim World 2 library. It goes through all the steps of being able to do this. This is and there's a variety of guides on how to get involved and how to actually create your first creations, as well as how to access existing creations or new creations being released by the community. Full detailed documentation is coming through here, how to do it, all the steps you need to do, as well as get everything through here to be able to get to subscribe to your latest updates. So this is a free update for Train Sim World 2. Just jump into your Steam account and do the update, and it's available for free, available now on Steam. And with that, folks, that does now round out the NovaWrap for this week. Thank you very much for joining me. Don't forget, as always, to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying these videos and would like to see more. And don't forget, as always, you can catch up with me and all the things I'm up to between videos by finding me on Facebook and on Twitter and on Twitch. Just search NovaWing24. All right, folks, thanks very much for watching. Take care, safe skies to all, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.